Welcome back, everybody. I'm Prof, and today my daddy and I are going to teach you how to make dumplings. And hopefully after you see this video, you'll see how easy it is to make dumplings, that this will also inspire you to make all sorts of dumplings. So what we're going to be doing today is going to be using wonton wraps, which are the square wraps, and they look like this in the grocery store. Okay, then we're also going to be using round wraps. And so you might be wondering, what's the difference between round and square? And I'll tell you how to use it. And this one usually comes in double package, okay? And then if you look here, I even had my own kind of wrap, and then I will show you how easy this is to make. So we have 3 kinds of wraps. We're going to have different kinds of ingredients, and then we'll stuff them, and then we'll see which one comes out better. So what we're going to be using for the inside today is we're going to be using pork, and I'll show you how quickly, within a minute, you can actually grind that up, and then your meat will be ready to go. And then for the vegetables, we're going to be using spinach, okay, which I chopped up very finely, as well as celery, which I chopped up into little pieces. And because celery is more difficult to cook, takes longer to cook, that's why I chopped them up into very, very small squares. Okay, so let's get started. So what we're going to do is, first I'm going to show you how we're going to do the meat. Okay, so what you do is you get a food processor, which I have right here, okay? And then the next thing we're going to need is our meats. And we're going to need tapioca. We're going to need things to flavor it, so different kinds of salts and whatever you want to put in there. And today what we're going to do also is a pretty fancy, and we're going to put fresh garlic. Garlic taste is always awesome, but it's always best to press your garlic. That way, otherwise, if you just drop it in, who knows how it's going to blend, and then you have different chunks of garlic, which may not be of the greatest. Okay, so the very first thing we're going to do is we're going to dump our meats. You can also use chicken. You can use other kinds of proteins. And also, don't worry, if you don't have a food processor, you can actually just chop this up. But just make sure you cut it in very small pieces, because when we start stuffing them into our wraps, you'll see that the big chunks, it's going to be very hard to close. So be smart, chop finely, and take that little extra time, okay, and to chop it up. So first we're going to put in our meats, okay. What's really important, and remember what I always say with protein, always put tapioca. Now, especially because we're going to do dumplings, we really want to make sure we have enough tapioca, because otherwise the water will run and all our juices from our proteins will run out. Okay, that's not a good thing. So we're going to put probably about 2 scoops, okay, of tapioca. Then we're going to put salt, okay. Okay, then I'm going to use some accent, some MSG, some fresh pepper. Still haven't had a chance to go. I keep forgetting to get a new pepper shaker. Okay, and then I'm going to add a little bit of sugar, because I'm adding sugar because I'm going to be adding soy sauce as well. All right, now just remember, just a little bit, because it's pretty salty. All right, that's enough for me. And then just to give it an extra flavor, we use, again, sesame oil. Now what you have to remember for this as well is that you have to add some water. Okay, otherwise you'll know if you missed water is if when you cook it and you eat it and it's a bit dry, it's like, I forgot to add a little bit of water. Okay, so just a little bit like that. Let me just add just a little touch more. Okay, and then that's it. So then we blend it. And that's it. Now that's all grounded up, we're going to be adding our garlic. So remember, it's better to press your garlic, okay? And if you don't, then just make sure you cut it in very fine pieces. So we ground in our garlic, which is I put 2 cloves. And that should be pretty nice. So let's just scoop that again and press, okay, because we want all of it. We don't want to waste any, okay? So we just push down, press again, still more coming out, okay? So chopped onions would be very nice. What also gives it another flavor is if you saute the onions a little bit and then add it back into your meats. So now look, we had one bowl of protein, and look how much pork, look how much stuffing it's going to make. Now that we've finished mixing in our garlic, I'm going to make 3 different kinds of dumplings with this, as well as a vegetarian one. So for the vegetarian one, I'm just going to use celery and spinach. But so I need to marinate this. So that means, don't forget, we have to add also tapioca, because we're going to do dumplings, and some of the water, the juices from these vegetables will come out. We want it to stay inside. All right, then we do a little bit of MSG, a little bit of salt, and then some pepper. And that will be it for that. So the salt will just bring out its natural flavors, and we'll see how that works out. So also what's really great for this is maybe bean sprouts or any other kinds of vegetables. Okay, so then all we do is add in a little bit of water. Okay, and then mix that up. So this one's ready to go. Okay, so we mix that one. Also, we can add a little bit of sesame oil as well. But we don't want to put soy sauce or anything else, because it might hide the taste of our vegetables. So this one should be ready to be stuffed. Okay, now I want to do pork and just see how that works out. So I'll do plain pork. Okay, and then the next one I'll do celery. Okay, celery and pork. And then the other one is I'm going to use spinach. Now that we've made all of our stuffings for our dumplings, let me show you how to make your own wrap. Let's just say you don't have time, or there's not a store nearby where you can actually find wontons. So wonton wraps. So why not just make it yourself? Very easy, and you only need a couple of ingredients. So now I'm going to teach you how to make the wrap. All we need are 3 ingredients. We need flour, which is just normal regular flour, and salt, or if you want something sweet, I use sugar, and then the key is hot water. So the hot water, what you do is, all we have to do is put the sugar in first. For me, I like mine a bit sweet. So I just add a little bit of sugar. Okay, that seems about right. Okay, and then it's just hot water. So the key is just to pour a little bit each time. So this is boiling hot water, and then what you do is you just add it to your flour, and that's it. Okay, so you just mix that around until you get a dough. Once you see a lot of it starting to clump up a little bit, then you know that's enough water. So there we go, because we can always add more water if we find that it's a bit too dry. So what I like to do is just use your hands, because it's just easier to mix. Okay, so just kind of move that around. Okay. And once you get to scoop it up all the flour, what you need to do now is just put some flour on your cutting board and then roll it. How simple is that? Wonton wraps in 2 seconds. Look at that. Okay. So you can just knead it a little bit more. Okay, so then just roll it out. Okay, it's a little bit sticky, but just always make sure you get a little bit of flour. Okay, and then roll it out. So depending on if you like a chewy outside, or if you really don't want to taste the outside too much, then it's just how thin you want to roll it. Okay, so you get your knife. Here's my $4 knife, and then just cut pieces. Okay, and what you want to do is just make sure, because now it's a little bit sticky because you just cut it, just roll it up in flour again. Okay, just like that. Once you roll it, you can then get ready to actually stuff it. However, what's really nice, and let's just say you have some leftover vegetables or protein that's already cooked. What I did was I just pan fried it. And so when you pan fry it, it is now a wrap. And then you can put in your ingredients and then eat. This actually tastes really nice. But for this time, we're going to also steam some. So what's really important first is that you have your pot that you're going to steam it in, and make sure you put oil on it. Okay, so let's start wrapping. Now, because we have different kinds of ingredients, and maybe we want to keep track of it all, you can actually wrap them in a different way. So for example, for this one, okay, this is just plain pork. And also this is how you can do another kind of dumpling is actually keeping it open. And we call that shu moi. Okay, so what you do is you put it like this, and then you can pick up the dumpling and put it in your hand like that. You can roll it and make a circle, okay? And then we just stuff it. Okay, so this one is pork. And what's really nice and what's traditional in Chinese is actually doing shrimp and pork. Okay, so I'm sure you've seen this before. And what you do is just push it down a little bit, okay? And then there it's ready, okay? And so then if we're going to do the inside, what's really great is that you just take, it only takes a little bit. So this one is going to be celery and pork, okay? And all you have to do is pinch, okay? And make sure you pinch it all the way. And then, let's just say you have a lot and you want to eat it later. You don't want to eat all of the dumplings you're making all in one shot. So what you do is you put saran wrap on a plate, sprinkle a little bit of flour, and then as you put the dumplings down, make sure they're not really overlapping because it will start getting a little bit wet. And then put it in the freezer. And then what you do is a couple of hours later, get your Ziploc bags, put these dumplings in, and these are all ready to go. So you'll be amazed at how a little bit of pork or a little bit of chicken can go such a long way. So don't be too greedy. Just make sure you just put in a little bit. Okay, a little bit. Oops, that's a little bit greedy. As you can see, it's a little bit too fat. Okay, and we don't want it too fat because if you cook it, say this is actually for soup, you know, you can put this in soup. It'll take longer to cook, but that's okay. All right, so just take a little bit and then here's your wonton. You can also fry this. So this is actually nice and crunchy and it'll cook very fast. Okay, and we're going to do that in next lesson, okay? And there we go. Now the reason for the round one is because these are actually a little bit thicker and these also can be pan fried. But this one, because it is thicker, what is important is that you have some water, okay? So let's do the spinach one. So if you do the spinach and pork, all right, you need a little bit more, all right? Put that in the middle, okay? And then what we do is we put water on half of the outside because you're going to be folding it. So now all you have to do is pinch to the middle, bring it together, and then one side, I'm left-handed, so what one side is you just pinch it like that. Okay, and look at that, it's already turning. Turn it over, pinch and pull over, all right? And then just kind of squeeze it down again, and there you go. So you can either steam this or you can put a little bit of oil in your pot and you can pan fry it. And that actually tastes really nice because when this gets a bit cooked and it's a little bit brown, it's nice and crunchy and the inside is delicious. So there you go. We've got wontons, we've got dumplings, and we can do this kind. 3 kinds. Sao moi. Did you hear my dad? Sao moi. Okay. And then also, another little tip is, let's just say this one has pork and you have another one that has shrimp, but somebody in your family just doesn't like shrimp. I don't know why they wouldn't like shrimp, but then you can always take a little piece and put that on top. That way, when you cook it, everybody knows, okay, the one with the green, there's no shrimp. My dumplings are cooked. It took probably about 12 to 15 minutes, okay? And so what we did was when we put it on the stove, we'll wait for it to boil, and then we turned it down to a medium, because once it's boiling, turn down your pot. All right, so now we have all the different kinds. We have the wonton wrap, we have the round wrap that we got before, and then here's my homemade. Okay, so let's bring in my daddy now. And what he always loves to do is he likes to put a little bit of chili and some oil. Okay, let's have him come and taste. Hi, Daddy.
Hi.
Okay, so this is wonton wrap, and this one actually has spinach. You can see the spinach green coming through.
Okay.
Wuntun, my daddy says.
Good.
Okay. Okay, Daddy, this one is pork with spinach, and this is the wrap that we bought. Okay, how's that?
It's sui jiao.
Sui jiao.
Sui jiao.
Okay, my dad's trying to teach us Chinese. Sui jiao. Okay. Okay, you put half here there because I want you to try the other ones. Okay, just put it here for now. Okay. Now this one is
Sao moi.
sao moi. Sao moi.
Sao mai. Yeah.
Sao moi. Okay, try that one. Okay, that's just with pork, with no vegetables inside. Remember, my dad likes shrimp, but I didn't want to put... okay, that's okay, Daddy. How's that one?
Good.
Okay, now,
No,
Daddy.
very good.
No, wait, there's one more, Daddy. Now eat this one, and this is the wrap that I made, and this one's vegetarian. This one here, Daddy. It's just, it has spinach and celery. Let's see if my daddy likes all vegetarian one. How's the wrapper? We made that ourselves.
Very good.
Okay, so which one's the best one, Daddy?
Oh, that's good.
It's all good again.
Good.
2 thumbs up, right, Daddy? All right. Okay, so now if you haven't, just a few things I forgot to tell you. If you have some wrapping left over and say you don't want to make all of it or you ran out of the toppings, make sure that you wrap it up in saran wrap really tight and put it in the freezer. And then when you're ready to make it again, all you have to do is take it out, let it thaw for about an hour outside, and it's good to go. Another thing that I forgot to tell you, let's just say you want to make dumplings in soup. And how are you going to prepare the soup? It's very easy. All you have to do is get a pot, put a little bit of oil, and put some garlic, that for a little while, and then you put some water and salt, accent, pepper, sesame oil, whatever you want to add into it, and then just throw in some vegetables and let the vegetable flavors come out into your soup. And then drop this in. Okay, and this should take about maybe 10 minutes. And what you'll see is it'll start floating. And once it starts floating, it's ready to eat. Okay, happy eating.